All right. Peace and great blessings, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, please like and subscribe. And I am Tamara and of Astro Healing Arts Wellness Center. And today we are having Ask the Herbalist Hour. Having a little technical difficulty, so I'm not on quite at on time. Then start right at 9. But welcome everyone. Welcome back. If you are following us on Plugged In Radio, you know that we're taking a brief sabbatical from the Healing Cipher show. However, you can still join us here on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Ask the Herbalist Hour, and we still are sharing our herbal knowledge and natural medicine knowledge with you all and answering your questions. You can feel free to put questions in the chat or send us an email. And in addition, you can also put questions on the Instagram page for at the Healing Cipher show on Instagram, or the Astral Healing Arts, at Astral Healing Arts, which is my other Instagram page. And you can just add your questions or comments, and we will share them here live on Wednesday nights on Ask the Herbalist Hour. So, welcome. Once again, I hope everyone is surrounded by love and peace and harmony at this time. It's also Ramadan. So Ramadan Mubarak out there to everyone who's observing the holy month of Ramadan. And we are waiting for King Ade to join us, and he should be getting on any minute now. In the meantime, let's see what questions. All right. So while we're waiting, tonight we were going to talk about the healing, the healer's journey, the journey of becoming a traditional healer or medicine person or shaman or whatever name that you want to call that person. Energy healer, vibrational healer. Some people call it a sage, a mystic. It's so many different names for a person who does healing on a spiritual level, like a spiritual healing practitioner. So we're going to be talking about that tonight as soon as our beloved King Ade joins us. And there's a common question that we both get about the path of the healer and answering the call to be a healer. Many are called, a few are chosen. And we're going to be talking about that tonight, our own personal journeys as healers and the call in general that is being given to humanity at this time, as we all are going through this great awakening process and learning to access the wisdom of our higher selves. So in that accessing the wisdom of your higher self, many of us are recognizing that we have this destiny, if you will, call it, to be a healer and to help other people in their own awakening process. The great awakening that's taking place, or the great ascension that many of us call it, which started several years ago, is still taking place now. And we're all on different levels when it comes to the ascension process. Just like in the school, you have some people that are in the high accelerated group, you have people who are in the middle level, and then you have people who are not quite there yet. They need some intervention or extra support, and they may be in a basic class or remedial class, or just need extra help, extra support, extra practice. And then some people are just not there at all, so they need lots of extra intervention. They may need a modified school schedule or lots of extra support. So just like in the school, everyone is on different levels. Earth and human life is kind of like school as well. And so we're all on different levels, with our spiritual growth and development, which is not different from any other growth and development, because your spiritual growth, we all are spiritual beings. Yes, this is true, having a human experience. However, we're not all on the same level when it comes to our spiritual growth and development. Just like anything else, it takes practice, it takes dedication and commitment to it. Just like a person who is training for athletics, um, you don't become a star athlete overnight. It takes practice, it takes commitment, it takes dedication. It takes getting up at 4 in the morning to go practice. Even when you're tired, you still have to practice. You still have to stay dedicated. You still have to train and discipline your mind and your body to be that great athlete. And you have to do the same thing with your spiritual practices. You have to stay committed to your spiritual practices of prayer, meditation, mantra, zikr, whatever it is that you do to keep yourself grounded and committed and focused on your goals, your spiritual goals and your spiritual development. And it doesn't happen all at once. It takes time, it takes dedication, it takes commitment, it takes a lot of learning, a lot of self-awareness, a lot of growth and development, working with other people as the healer, and every healing experience is a learning experience as well. So with each person that you work with, you're learning so much more about yourself and your abilities, and you're also learning about the other person and just all the different manifestations of spirit. So it's a learning experience. It's something, I think you'll never know everything there is to know. You just keep learning, you keep growing and development and developing. And the more you learn, the more you want to learn, and the more growth and potential that you see for learning. So that's what we're going to be talking about this evening. Welcome, beloved Mr. J, in the chat room. You asked the question, like autism. You mean, can you be a little bit more specific about the question, like autism? Mm. When you say like autism, what do you mean? And let me check on King. When you talked about people being in different levels of classes, like remedial, so you also have some who are artistic and a spiritual level. Autism is many different forms of autism, which is a very complex issue. I wouldn't say that some people are autistic on a spiritual level. I think that some people are disconnected, if you will, from their spiritual selves, because we're all spiritual beings, that the realm of spirit is just another vibration of life, and we all have access to it. However, many of us have not developed that access, or develop the ability to tap into and connect to the spiritual realm, or the higher realms, as you call it, or the realm of the ancestors. It's all around us. We all have access to it. We all are immersed in it, but it's just that some people have not discovered how to tap into that or how to connect to that. It doesn't mean that there's something necessarily wrong with you. It's just that you haven't developed that capability yet, and it takes practice. and why some people can access that dimension easier than others. I'm still, at a loss of words for that, because it just is for some people. Some people it's a natural ability. Some others, they have to develop it over time. And then there's some people who never quite develop that ability, or they just have a few fleeting moments in their lifetime where they may have moments of an extra sensory perception or a spiritual or paranormal experience, but they is something that just happened. They don't have the ability to connect to it. So why some people do and some don't, um, it just varies. It's similar to, I guess, developing a talent. Some people are very talented when it comes to music or certain other arts, and then other people are not, I guess. But it is something that we all can practice and develop the ability to access. So all is not lost. All is not hopeless. So don't give up. Just keep working on your spiritual practices. Keep focusing on developing your spiritual self as you access the wisdom of your higher self, and it will get more simple. It'll get simpler over time. I hope that answered your question. Any more questions while we are waiting on our beloved co-host? Well, while we are waiting on him, we can just continue our conversation about the path of the spiritual healer and answering the call. Throughout history, there's always been a special place in indigenous and ancient cultures for the person who did the spiritual healing or the healing in the communities. Um, the English language does not have a word for a person who does spiritual healing or energy healing. And so they use terms like medicine person, medicine man, medicine woman, or a shaman. The word shaman is actually a transliteration of a word from a language that comes from Siberia, and it refers to a person who does energy healing or spiritual healing. And in ancient cultures, the person who did that held a very high esteem and a high regard in the culture. Um, in some cultures, they had leadership roles, like some of the kings and queens actually had these abilities as well to do the spiritual healing, and that made them more respected because they had that insight or that spiritual development. And so what it is a person who is like a doctor for the soul, or a person who can access higher realms or other realms of reality that ordinary people may not have access to, and they use the knowledge of that access um, for healing. That's basically what we do. And there's different paths with it, different cultures. I've met spiritual healers from different parts of the world, different cultures, and the path is different for every person. No two people have the same, I would say, developed abilities. Is different. Yes, we all have these abilities, but why some people have direct access to them or can use them more freely and easily, um, it just varies. It just is. I was told when I asked that question years ago, like why, and someone told me it just is. It just is. But many of us, the traditions are different, and um, in different cultures. In some cultures, the spiritual leader or teacher, if you will, the medicine person, lives separate from the rest of the people. They wear special clothing. They have a special diet. They have a lot of taboos or things that they are allowed to do or not allowed to do, or etc. And it just varies from culture to culture. A lot of that is cultural. And then they have different modalities or ways of expressing their healing abilities. Some medicine people work with plants and herbs. Some work with energy. Some work with, well, most of them work with everything because it's all part of the healing process. But some are more highly developed than others with plant medicine. Some are more highly developed with energy work. Some do more trance work. And other modalities. So it just depends on what it is their specialty or their area of expertise. And how do you know if you are a spiritual healer? That's a really good question someone's asking. One way you will know is in some places it is traditionally, in some cultures, is passed down from generation to generation. There's one person in each generation of the family that has that special ability, and the previous person or the older person will take that younger person as an apprentice and teach them and train them. That's one way. Another way is you will have certain signs in your lifetime that will let you know that you are destined to be a spiritual healer. Those signs vary. One of them is you will often have a brush with death or near death experience. A lot of us have had near death experiences. Not everyone, because there's no single narrative, everyone is different. But oftentimes you will have an experience where you came close to death or experienced death, and then you had to shortly after that, it will create a change, a series of events in your life that will let you know that this is your path. You may also have experiences early in life. Oftentimes, the abilities will manifest in early childhood, and you'll feel different from other people. You'll be able to sense and perceive things that are beyond the physical, or the physical realm of existence. And those are all signs that you have this ability. You may have a special connection to the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the mineral kingdom. Those are also signs. You may be what they call the black sheep of the family, especially when it comes to spiritual matters. So you may find yourself more involved in or more curious about spirituality and the soul's growth than someone else, the rest of the family. That's another thing that sets you apart. You also just have this yearning in your soul from, especially for me, as long as I can remember, you always have this yearning in your soul that there's something not right with the world, and that there's a big need for change, there's a need for healing, there's a need for change to take place on the planet. And the change that needs to take place can start with you first. You'll start with developing and cultivating yourself and your abilities, and purifying your heart, your sacred heart, purifying your mind. And then you'll be able to assist others in that process. So, another thing you may feel when you're growing up, you feel out of place in society. You may feel that there's a higher calling, a higher mission for you. You may feel a restlessness to help, to facilitate change, and all of that is a part of the journey of the path of the shaman or the path of the healer. All right. Um we still waiting on our beloved brother Ade. Any other questions while we're waiting? The term medicine man and medicine woman, um, medicine refers to energy or one's power. And medicine, when they say medicine man or medicine woman, what that means is a person that has uses energy. So that's what medicine man, medicine woman means. It's just a person that uses energy. When they say somebody has good medicine, that means that they have strong energy, strong power. Energy and power is all the same thing. Spirit, energy is spirit. Spirit is energy. It's all the same thing. So it's a person that works with energy and works with the spiritual realm. um, One misconception that many of us have, because we've been taught in this 3D reality world that everything is separate, that humanity is separate from all of other forms of life, that life is separate from death, that God is separate from man, man is separate from God, male is separate from female, vice versa. It's the illusion of separation that is so damaging to a lot of our thoughts and our lifestyles and the way that we live. And the illusion of separation is what has disconnected many of us from the spiritual path and our spiritual growth and development. And so once you start developing yourself spiritually, you will see that there is no separation, that it is one, or is unified, if you will. um for example, we think of the spiritual realm, or the higher realms, as separate well, they are sort of separate dimensions, but they all are intertwined. And so just as we are sitting here in the physical world right now listening to this live broadcast, there's simultaneously other things going on a spiritual level. And so you want to develop yourself to the point and to the level where you can freely access um your higher mind, your higher self. One of the ways that you do that is through spiritual practices such as prayer. Fasting actually opens up your spirit connection. Prayer, fasting, meditation, practicing other energy work like Reiki, Qigong, Tai Chi, all of those things, yoga, those practices help you to connect to the spiritual realm. This is one of the reasons why people pray. There's lots of people who say, "Oh, they don't believe in spirit. They don't believe in anything that they don't see or they can't see." But that's the whole purpose of prayer, is to connect to the unseen forces and its divine communion with um, your higher self, with the higher dimensions, with the higher beings like the angels, the ascended masters, ancestors, God, whatever. This is why we have spiritual practices and prayers. And a lot of people say things like they don't believe in those things because you can't see them, you can't touch them. But most of the most powerful things are unseen. For example, electricity. We know electricity is real because when I touch that light switch, the lights are going to go on. When I turn it off, it's off. Just like these outlets here. If you put your finger in it, you'll see the effects of it. It's real. It's alive. Just because you don't physically see it, but you see the manifestation of the electricity. So is many other things. You may not physically see them, but you know it's there because of the effects that it has. Same thing with the spiritual realm. Many people will say things like they don't like, once again, like they don't believe in spirit, they don't see it, they can't touch it, then it's not real. However, you've seen the effects of the spiritual realm every day. For example, many of us have dreams or visions, and the dream time, when a person has a dream and they wake up from their dream, they'll say things like, it seems so real. I was talking to, my grandmother who passed years ago, and it's like she was right there. I felt like she was right in front of me and I was talking to her. Well, that person, you did have communication with that person. It was just a different form of communication, that was beyond the physical. And just like you have access to that experience in that dimension during your dream time, you can also at will access that through meditation, and prayer. You can also connect with the other dimensions and the other realities. So, any other questions? I did receive a text with King Ade saying he's getting on now. We're still waiting. Another another issue, not another issue, another question that often comes up is, how do you know what your special ability is? Each person has their own specialty that they use as far as healing. And like I said, some people do more energy work, some people use more plants, medicine, or herbs. Some people do healing with crystals, crystal work. Sound therapy is another modality. Um, Candle work, some people do that. Some people do healing strictly through prayer and meditation. Let me see. I said sound here. Color therapy, all of those, and energy work. Oh, thank you very much for the message. So, yes. So all of those are different ways of using our healing abilities, and there's no single right way or wrong way, and different people have different specialties that they focus on when it comes to healing. And there's no, like I said, there's no right way or wrong way. um like I said, it just varies from person to person, and each person brings their own special touch to the healing that they do. um in some cultures, the medicine person or the shaman is um, primarily male. In some cultures, most of the shamans and medicine people are men. And in other cultures, is a female dominated industry or a female dominated craft. And in some cultures, is both genders. And it really doesn't matter because the ability is transcends gender. So it doesn't really matter if it's a female or a male that practices the craft. It just is. However, um, in a lot of cultures, it tends to be predominantly females because of the feminine energy, which is a pulling and receiving energy. And also, the healing arts is something that is dominated by females because that's one of the roles of the divine mother. The divine feminine is the nurturing and the healing aspect, which comes naturally for many women. For example, we are the caretakers and of the family. We're the pivotal person in the family. So it's our duty and our role as mothers and as wives and as sisters and daughters to care for the family, to care for the community, to love and support people, um, providing comfort. So in that aspect, healing seems to come naturally and in some form with females. So in a lot of cultures, the medicine person is a female. However, one is not more powerful than the other. I've met lots of medicine people, shamans, and yogis and other, from India and other people, and it's equal in both males and females. So I can't say that one is more powerful than the other or one dominates on the other. It just depends because, like I said, it transcends gender. All right, next question from beloved Mr. J. Do you know of people who do work with animals, or do you think the spirits would be inviting the animals? Um, I do know people who work with animal medicine, if that's what you mean, like animal, animal totems. Um, the spirit world will communicate with you, and sometimes it will manifest in the form of an animal. Like a people will get messages from their spirit guides or an ancestral guide that will speak to them through an animal, or they'll send them the symbol of an animal. So yes, many healers do work with animals. There's beloved King Ade. Um, Peace and love, King. How are you?
Peace and love. Peace and love. I'm sorry for tuning in late. It's Dr. Kokai's 70th birthday, and we just finished meeting with him, and we did a little birthday celebration afterwards.
Oh, give thanks. Give thanks. Yeah. So how are you feeling this evening, this April 6th?
I feel amazing. I feel amazing.
Oh, good, good, good. All right. So we started talking. Welcome. And we have a visitor in the chat room, beloved Mr. J. So we've been talking about tonight's topic, which is the path of the healer, or answering the call of the healer, or some people call spiritual healers shamans or medicine people. So we were talking about that, and um some of the questions. And the last question he asks is, do you think that people can also do their work with animals, or is it the spirits embody the animal? And I think it's a combination of both. I think that the spirit can manifest in the form of an animal. That's usually like a spirit guide can come in the form of an animal, or the animal itself is just a symbol of a particular type of energy that you can embody, or a type of medicine. That's why we say, it's turtle medicine, or um, lion medicine, or whatever type of totem or symbol it is. Um, if you're attracted to a particular type of animal, or a certain type of animal keeps showing up in your life, showing up in visions or dreams, and that it very likely is your totem, and that animal is sharing some of his energy and power with you. We have a birth totem, we have personal totem, we also have ones that come and go in our lives at different periods in our lives to help us with certain um task. And we also have an ancestral totem that I learned about. So all of that is correct. Some people specifically have the ability to do a lot of healing work on animals,
I say.
which is another form of life. King, you want to answer that?
Oh yeah, I would love to go into that. So there's a lot of spiritual systems that do rituals and ceremonies dealing with animal spirits. I do some ceremonies dealing with animal spirits,
Mhm.
bird of the phoenix. I know you guys see that as a mythical animal, but in
Mhm.
spiritual connection, calling upon the frog or the toad spirit, calling upon different spirits
Mhm.
that hold different energy.
Yes. Mhm.
These different spirits hold different energy. Even in martial arts, I'm a martial artist. Even in our forms, we call upon the spirit of different animals.
Mhm. I'm
Um,
glad you said that.
you gotta understand that that's just energetics.
Mhm.
Because these plants, let me tell you now, everything that you see moving is being animated. What's an
Mm.
animal? Is something that has been animated. What's
Oh, I like that. Okay, I didn't think of it like that.
yeah? What's animation? Animation means
Movement, right?
life, giving movement. Something
Life.
giving life, giving movement. Something is now moving that
Mm-hmm.
if not for the spirit or the energy that was in it,
Mm-hmm.
it would be still because it would be dead. If spirit is removed from something, what is it? If
It's inanimate.
exactly, if at this moment the spirit left my body and ascended or went wherever it went, I would be lying stiff and still. I would
Mm-hmm.
what they would call dead. They would say, "Ah, they died." You know, my spirit would be still alive. I might still be in form in a spiritual form, but they would say, "Ah, they's dead. He gone."
Mm-hmm.
Now there's some people that know me for martial arts and movement that would say, I want to move like Ade. I'm gonna call this move the Ade stance.
Mm,
Some
yes.
say I want to embody that spirit that he shows. So somebody might call it the Ade spirit or the Ade dance or whatever. Just like Christians still to this day talk about they want to dance like David danced.
Mm.
Just like people to this day are saying they want to be as wise as Solomon.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things, like we 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 copy attributes that we find to be worthy. So that being said, people always say they want to be lion-hearted because lions are some of the most fearless animals out there.
Yes. Yes. Very correct. Yes.
They rule like a king,
Mm-hmm.
and they have multiple women, and they be out there hunting for them.
Mm.
Craziness. So I say that to say, animal calling upon animal spirits. First of all, you gotta know the animal you call upon spirits because you what's the habit of that animal? Why are you calling upon the spirit of this animal? And like I said, if the animal has been animated, that means the animal had a spirit at some time.
Yes.
So I got a question. If I died and flied off, and my body now became dead, where
Mm-hmm.
do the dead lion spirits and frog spirits and toad spirits and turtle spirits and where do all these spirits go?
Good question.
Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So that being said, they're still within this cycle. And some I might be a lion that done, reincarnated into a human body. I don't know if that's how it works, but
It's
and
possible.
it's possible that I have that
Anything's
energy
possible.
in me somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible that I have that energy within me, even within the zodiac. They're saying that we
Yes.
have attributes of different animals.
Mm-hmm.
And these animals got different things that go on with their animal spirit. A lion spirit is different from a frog spirit.
Ashe.
They move differently. Frog spirit might
Mm-hmm.
pop when it's scared. A lion spirit might pounce or attack when it's scared.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta understand this. We gotta understand this and what spirit that we want to connect with. And our spirit already has an affinity to certain animal totems. You feel me? So
Absolutely.
we already have affinities.
Oh, definitely.
So we already have animals that we're drawn to and we're connected to. That's why you all the aggressive people be like, yeah, I'm a lion or I'm a tiger or I'm a this or I'm a that. So it's just knowing yourself and knowing the animals that you connect with. And it's a very spiritual thing. There's a lot of animal spirits that are prayed to, that are connected with, that you cultivate the connection with for different reasons because they can take you and guide you through different things that you might not be able to find independent by yourself. You feel me?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just so you know, in Kemet, they love cats. You know,
Mhm. And
side
speak on that. Speak on why the cat was considered sacred to the ancient Kemetic people.
it was considered spiritual. They said it crossed in between both worlds.
Mm-hmm.
Said his eyes saw more. Like if you kept the cat around and there was a spirit around, the cat would know before you knew.
Yes. Many people say that. They say cats, dogs as well, but especially cats. People say cats can sense spirit.
Yeah, and a lot of animals sense spiritual happenings that we are not aware of at times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's about it's about the fact that these animals are different and they have senses that we haven't developed as human beings.
Mm-hmm.
Just like we got senses that these animals ain't developed because we different. We all different.
Yes. Yes.
That being said, that we're different, there's some things in the animal spirit and some things in their sensory that we want to cultivate.
Absolutely.
Make no mistakes about it. We envy them just in the same way that we might say they envy us. Everybody be talking about, I'm trying to be more lion hearted. I want to be more courageous. They say,
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a slick cat, or I want to be a sly fox, or I want to be
Right. Free like a bird. That's what
free as
they're talking about. Yeah, the energy of those animals. Now,
people.
not to cut you off, King, but one of the things that I started paying attention to years ago is the Chinese zodiac and how they give the names of the year. Well, each year in the Chinese, because we talked about different calendar systems before, but in the Chinese tradition, what happened? Oh, in the Chinese tradition, um, the years are given the name of one of the animals because their zodiac, I think, is 12. Theirs is 12 too, but it's animals
Yeah, like the
versus the other zodiac that
all that.
have a few symbols. Like Libra is a symbol of the scales, it's not an animal, but this year is the year of the tiger, and which
Tiger.
is yes, which is a very auspicious animal. And the reason why the years are given the name of an animal is because the energy of the year, each year has a different energy.
Yes.
So last year was the year of the ox, and ox is a steady um earth grounding kind of energy,
Yeah.
and there's a year of the tiger. And so tiger teaches you what you got to study the ways and the characteristics of the tiger. A tiger's a beautiful animal. I've seen them at the zoo in Virginia. Gorgeous to look at. Tigers are the largest cat, um, and tigers are a silent stalk and pounce hunter. Not quite like the lion. The lion and the cheetah actually run and chase their prey down and eat it. But the tiger has a different method of operation. The tiger sits quietly in the grass and it watches, and then it will pounce and attack. It don't do a whole lot of running. So this telling you that this is the year for you to pounce. I mean, to be quiet, be still, watch what you're looking for, watch what your goals are. That's how I look at it. And then when it's the right time, you're going to pounce. So be a stalk and pounce predator, not hurting people, but when it comes to your goals or conquering your weaknesses or whatever it is that you
I
want to
say
do.
stalk your prey
Um,
and then pounce when the opportunity
when the
comes.
opportunity comes, right? So tiger is teaches us time to persevere, be strong, be silent observers, learn the art of camouflage,
I say.
how to be someplace but not of it. That's what camouflage means to me, in the human realm. How to be someplace but you can slip in and out without being detected, and you're not of it. You're not you might be around the nonsense, but you're not a part of it. You can slide in and out and not be detected. Pounce and attack your goals. Tiger is also a feminine energy, represents powerful healing, right? So once again, it's telling you to embody the energy or the power of that animal.
I say.
Ashe. So we have a lot to learn. I'm glad he asked that question because we have a lot to learn from our family in the animal kingdom. They teach us a lot. They teach us how to be in harmony with nature, which is something a lot of us as humans have forgotten that knowledge. They teach us how to connect to the earth, and animals also teach us how to live according to natural laws. I mean, there's laws that govern everything.
I say. And let me
And
say, yeah.
speak.
Okay. I think we definitely need to talk about having respect for animals. Animals
Absolutely.
are our food. They wasn't put here to be our fur, our extra skin. They wasn't put here to be our rugs. They wasn't be a head on the wall. They wasn't be it put here to put a horn that we blow out of or drink wine out of,
Make jewelry.
make jewelry out of. They wasn't put here for none of that shit. I promise. Put here for that. God did not say when he had the garden and all that that hey, why do you think they called it the Garden of Eden?
Good question.
Not the forests of hunting in Eden. It was called the garden. What do you do in the garden? You grow
plant, you grant right. Fruit trees, you plant seeds.
You grow food. So
Mm-hmm.
God knew when he called it the Garden of Eden what God wanted our food to be. Animals, and y'all should give each animal a name.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, do you name things that you plan on killing? Do you know at a farm you're not allowed to name the animals? Most farms
I didn't know that.
allow their children to give the animals a name. Because if you give the animal a name, you're personalizing what is one day going to be butchered and be your dinner. I don't give it a name. You're getting too close. You're getting too attached to it. Or we gonna cut it up and sell it.
Right.
That's that. Don't become too close friends with the pig out there. That might be dinner one day. Don't want me to do a breakfast and say we eating heartily.
Right. Yeah.
So we gotta we are disrespectful to animals as a, and we gotta correct that, because for one,
I agree,
us killing the animals is killing us. It's a perpetual cycle. We think we getting over at on the animals by killing them and eating them, but they getting right back over because they are poisoning our blood and killing us. They're literally poisoning our blood. The problem of slaughtering an animal, the animal has such toxic emotions that make it excrete toxic chemicals,
hormones. Yep, that's right.
into the body right at the time of death, so that when it finally end up on your plate, you're eating fear, you're eating death,
pain,
you're eating pain, you're eating sadness because it just saw its whole family get cut up before it got cut up. You're eating the worst emotions that animal has ever went through in its life. That is what's permeating its blood. So when you talk about all this ritual sacrifice, they try to say Ifa is evil, the Orishas, they kill the animals. You do that shit every day.
Yeah, on your plate.
Every day you doing animalistic sacrifice on your plate. I'm gonna tell you, start in Africa. That's not African-centered thing. It's not African-centered. So you got look at where your training is coming from. Look at where these habits are coming from. Because we still got slave habits and colonial habits that ain't nobody talking about.
Absolutely.
Ain't nobody talking about it. But where we learn this shit from, we didn't teach this shit to ourselves.
Facts.
But we are to change it and continue to perpetuate it. Oh, my family ate like this for 80 years.
Right. And they all had the same illness for 80 years.
For 80 years. Now the diabetes and obesity, you couldn't miss it if you tried. That obesity.
No, the kidney disease in our community. It's like everywhere you go, every shopping center almost has a dialysis center. I didn't see that as frequently when I was growing up.
The blood, they're toxifying the blood. The blood is toxic now. You can't filter the blood, but after it's been filtering all these toxins, it's dead. It's done. You keep, like, the thing is, if something is meant to filter a toxin, it's not going to keep working if you keep putting the same toxins right back in your body, because it's going to come to a point where it's dealing with more toxin blood than it's dealing with good blood. And that's what kidney disease is. When it becomes all your blood is toxic.
Yes. And then all that fear and everything. And the kidneys absorb fear
Yeah.
on a spiritual level. So that may be why so many people have kidney disease and kidney failures, because there's unresolved fear.
There is. There
And
is.
yes, settling into the kidneys. Yeah.
So take the great things from the animals. Don't take the worst things from the animals. So you don't need to eat the animals to get that animal spirit. You feel me?
Yeah.
You don't, you don't need to take a bite of a lion to be lion hearted.
Right.
Vegetarian, but I'm lion hearted.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So we eating these animals. Man, we the only people that drink any other breast milk other than our own.
Yes, and I never understood that growing up, because what I grew up in the 80s, and breastfeeding was not something you saw frequently. It was mostly, almost everybody had formula. And I would hear people say to older women say to young women, this is something that they used to do. I don't know if people still do this, because nearly everybody that I'm around in my cipher, in my circle, they all breastfed either full time or part time. But they used to bind their breasts after they had a baby, um, to suppress the milk, and it would get engorged or whatever, and they would do something to it to make the milk dry up and give the baby formula. And I witnessed this growing up. You go visit people, they just had a baby, or a relative or something had a baby, and I would be like, why would you dry up your milk, which is for your baby, to give them a bottle of canned milk?
That's some canned or cow milk. Some cow milk. It don't make no sense.
It didn't make sense to me. No, it did. But this is what I saw though, and I'm just like, you have milk, but you're giving the baby some other kind of milk.
And you see, the thing is, we've adopted this European supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you about it. Let me tell you about it. And just Lionheart, as you feel me, always Leo.
Yeah,
All
I know that's one of your tones and
I,
things.
yes, but let me tell you about it. Let me tell you how bad it is.
Mm-hmm.
We have adopted this white supremacy, this European supremacy mindset, because in African spirituality, we didn't put ourselves above the animals. We were in alignment. Like you see African people walking with lions and they happy and they kumbaya, playing around with lions and things like that, all types of stuff like that. You don't see that. One white
Mm-mm.
people over here try to bite their head off because there's no. But let me tell you about this white supremacy,
Mm-hmm.
this European supremacy that we have gotten since slavery and colonialism.
Yes.
We believe that, for one, we believe we're better than all animals on earth. But
Yes.
the fact of the matter is in biology, you learn that you are an animal. You're an,
Mm-hmm.
you're a mammal, and an
Mm-hmm.
animal is something that has an animation, an animated spirit, something that's
Yes.
animated, something that's moving, living. It's an animal. We've learned that we're mammals.
Mm-hmm.
All mammals breastfeed.
Mm-hmm.
All mammals breastfeed their own.
Their own young, right? Because you don't see the goat drinking the cow milk, and you don't see the elephant drinking the giraffe's milk. No.
But we feel so superior that we not even gonna drink our own milk. We gonna go get a cow's milk, rob a cow's milk.
Rob the cat, right?
I think the cow just, well, hey, go ahead, have some milk. We violating that mother cow.
Yes.
She created that for her young, not our young.
Right.
And then how do you think the cow feel about that? So what emotions do you think the cow's excreting?
Mm.
What you think that
And
they
they separate the mama calf. I saw this on the farm too. They separate them,
they
so he
separate?
can't have his mother's milk, for time, because they want to milk her. Yeah, so I didn't really. Yeah, it is a violation.
It's a major violation.
Mm-hmm.
What if I took your baby off your breast and said you
Oh, it's
got,
gonna be a fight.
it's going to
Right.
fight.
Right.
It's going to be, because that's a major problem. That's a major violation.
Right.
If somebody did that to my queen or my mother, it's a fight. A fight to the death.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna try to kill him. So the cow be praying milk. I pray everybody that drink this stolen milk fall dead. I'm not mad at the cow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad at the cow because the cow's being violated
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of this milk that is killing,
Right.
that is giving us so much excess mucus that we pretty much are breathing in and out phlegm.
Yes. Mucus and inflammation.
When we gonna stop playing ourselves and acting like
Mhm.
stupid?
Right. And
It's
think about it, people. The milk is formulated for that animals or that organism's offspring. So let's look at the cow's anatomy. The cow is a large animal. They eat grass. They graze. um as soon as their babies are born, they after a few minutes they stand up and walk, right? So that baby has a totally different nutritional needs than a human baby.
sure.
Not to say that we're better, but it's just different. Our babies don't get up and walk, a few minutes after birth. What our babies do most is sleep a lot, right? um Gradually they begin to move and wiggle and turn over. Some of these newborns now, they can roll over from one side to the other, but it takes them a while. Then the baby learns to develop its fine motor skills. Eventually the baby will start to hold their head up, will begin to crawl, start pulling up. Eventually they start walking after several months or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So your baby doesn't have the same nutritional needs that the baby calf has. So you can't drink the same milk. Same thing with the baby goat, or let's look at the baby horse. I mean, they different organisms. Yes, brother, go ahead.
Okay.
Peace, one love.
Peace, peace. So here's the real kicker.
Yes.
The mother's milk has enzymes that's created just for that baby. That
Yes.
healing that the mother's milk isn't just for feeding the baby. When it's time to sleep, the mother's milk creates milk that helps the baby sleep.
Yes.
Time to be up and awake, the mother's milk creates milk with more energy. If
Yes.
the baby has a cold, the mother's milk creates enzyme to cure the cold.
And antibodies, you're right. Absolutely.
The mother's milk is that baby's best form of protection
Mm-hmm.
and has all the HGH that baby needs to grow as that
Mm-hmm.
baby's supposed to grow. So the thing is, you will never know the deficiencies that can be created in that baby by separating it from its mother's natural milk that was formulated just for that baby. The milk
Yes.
that the milk that mother makes
Mm-hmm.
has hormones because
Yes.
the mother being near the baby, the mother's hormones start working and it starts
Mm-hmm.
creating stuff just for that baby.
Mm-hmm.
So by you not giving the baby its breast milk,
Mm-hmm.
you are literally stripping that baby of its inheritance, is God's birth
Mm-hmm.
from the mother to the child.
Mm-hmm.
There's not being
Mm-hmm.
passage. That whole process is a rites of passage.
Mm.
And we're failing as a people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not me, maybe not you, but as a people,
Mm-hmm.
as a nation of
Mm-hmm.
melanated people, we're failing
Mm-hmm.
because we have lost track. Everybody's saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go get formula off day one. I'm a Wick got the Infamil now. Wick let you get the Infamil. Oh yeah, I breastfeed and I got to go back to work. They got Infamil.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the back of the Infamil, I wouldn't feed that to my dog, cat, let alone my child.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we feed our pets better than we feed our children.
Mm.
Sad case in itself.
Yeah, it is.
So we got that as a people.
Yes.
That as a people, we gotta actually identify what is best for us to put in our mouth. Because I'm actually coming out with a whole book just to tell you that motherfucker don't ingest just like we see a roach spray bottle and we see
Mhm.
our child crawling up to it. We run and we snatch it away and we put it up high so that they can
Yes.
ingest toxins.
Yes.
We have to have a talk with some grown-ups.
Mhm.
We need to start running down. I actually want to do this. I want to have this. Maybe it'll be a skit or maybe it'll be real life. Depends on how I'm feeling that day. Where I run down on someone with a donut or a honey bun and be like, hold up. You know all the toxins you about to ingest?
Right.
Do you know?
All that sugar, right?
Oh, you got to hide the donuts from the grown-ups, just like you got to hide the roast spray from the children.
Mhm. And the cigarettes. Don't forget them.
Man, the crazy part about it is, for one, sugar is a toxin.
Yes.
Sugar in itself is a toxin, but if you knew how many toxins they hide with sugar, when they want to feed you some toxic shit that they know that if they said, come eat this toxin, you wouldn't eat it, they just throw sugar on there and say, hey, come eat this sweet.
Mhm.
When someone offers your child candy, be offended because they just play with life and they're trying to get them addicted to something as bad as crack cocaine.
Yep. Yep.
We got to learn as a people if we ever expect to grow as a people. When presented with new knowledge, if
Mhm.
you see righteous and factual and you see it to be true, create a change. Because if you watch this and you see this and you know that the knowledge that's given you is right and you fail to make a change, you do not choose to change, you've already made the choice to remain the same. If you don't choose health, you inevitably choose disease and sickness.
Yes.
If you don't choose to live the right way, you inevitably choosing to live the wrong way.
That's
Failure to make
right.
is a choice in and of itself.
Yes, it is. You can get with this or you can get with that.
You feel me? So actually
It's
got
life or death.
absolutely. So now the choice is yours, but make it. Don't take the stance of saying I didn't know when you had a chance to choose the right thing and you decided not to make a choice.
Mhm.
You saw the right information instead of making a choice, making a shift.
Mhm.
You didn't. You didn't move. You said, I'm not going to move. And you allowed that time to make the choice to pass, then wonder why your life stayed the same or actually digressed.
Mm.
If you don't change, you don't progress. If you
True
don't
indeed.
make right changes in your life, you will not progress because life's just going to get harder for you and you will inevitably die. And what's right there at the front of digress? Die.
Mm.
You will die. So that's the most
Mhm.
blunt that I could put it. That's the most blunt way I could say it because I love y'all enough to tell y'all the truth. And
Mhm.
enough to hurt y'all feelings no matter how good y'all grandma mac and cheese is. That shit will kill you.
Yeah.
No matter how good the pork chops are, it'll kill you.
Mhm.
Listen, and let me tell you how deep it gets. My mother
Mhm.
is an international chef. So she be cooking up some bangers. We're Nigerian, so I grew up eating goat meat, oxtail, and all that good shit.
Okay.
I loved it. I'm a foodie at nature. So it's hard for me being a vegan for the past 5 to 6 years. It's been
Mhm.
hard because I still am a chef and I still worked in a restaurant cooking up meats and oxtails and goats and all that, and not even being able to take a bite.
That's a lot of self-discipline.
It's a whole lot of self-discipline, but that's the only way it could be because if I had to stay away from it just so I could be vegan, I wouldn't be vegan.
Mhm.
Soon as I come around it, I fall short. So I had to be around it just so I could build up the self-discipline where it didn't affect me
Mhm.
to be around. And the same thing, I did the same thing with alcohol. Quit alcohol, still served alcohol.
Mhm.
Quit smoking marijuana, still serve marijuana, even though I smoke marijuana now, but it's by choice. When I want to quit, I quit.
Mhm.
When I want to do it, I do it.
Mhm.
I say, at least know what you're doing if you're going to do it. And if
Mhm.
it has to go, let it go. Because if you hold on to it, you're gonna hold it all the way to the grave.
Yeah.
And it's gonna weigh you down. It's gonna weigh you 6 feet down.
Hmm. Yeah, but some people don't have that willpower to stop, and the thing that the habit has a hold of them. One Love commented, yes, some people I know are not always making the healthiest choices and they continually get sick. And yes, I have observed this with friends, family, clients. There's some people who continually make really bad choices and they stay sick and they don't see the connection between the two, or they choose not to see it, because you got some people who, perfect example, what's the definition of insanity? Continuing to do the same thing but expecting different results. And many of us, you see people all the time smoking a cigarette. I ain't got no business with this cigarettes. Why you keep buying them? They coughing, and then the next day they go into chemo for their lung cancer treatment or the breast cancer treatment. I mean, your breasts are right over your lungs, so of course if your lungs are sick, your breasts gonna be sick, and vice versa. And then I've met people, they got one, the cancer spread to the other. They'll say, yeah, I went to the doctor and it spread. They removed, they had a mastectomy, but now the cancer's in my lungs. Yeah, you smoking cigarettes. Yeah, of course it's going. Now is it going to spread to your throat? It's going to go somewhere else.
Gonna go
Not
right.
saying that all cancer comes from smoking, but the point
But
is
and
we keep.
but smoking cigarettes has over 1,000. Matter of fact, there's millions of carcinogens found in
Mhm.
million. Do you know how many elements they had to find and put together a shit that they knew was going to kill you? This shit is deliberate.
Yes, it is, because why it's deliberate. You see the package of cigarettes and there's a warning label on it, but you still sell it. So if you know this product is harmful to people's health,
Ain't nothing.
why do you still produce it? Look at all the stuff that we are surrounded with
Why?
that is harmful to us and harmful to the environment, producing all kinds of chemicals in our houses. Most of our houses are not even environmentally friendly, poor air quality, poor water quality. They used to use lead paint. All this stuff that they do is deliberately toxic
I'll say.
to the environment, to the body, and yet they still are producing these things. The pesticides, if the pesticides are killing the insects, what is it doing to the crop of the food? How is it affecting us? For example, they made some kind of pesticide to kill insects, that were eating crops, but it poisoned the bees, and the bees are one of the major pollinators. The bees help our food to grow, so we need them. Everything in nature has a purpose. It has a
Balance.
role, huh?
A purpose and a balance.
And a balance. And so if you destroy one thing in the ecosystem, it's going to create an imbalance elsewhere. So we have to let everything work together and synergistically work together. And just like once we get back into, our natural state, we work with harmony, just like the human body works synergistically, so does nature. Nature is like just the most amazing, I don't want to say machine, but it works in harmony.
Well, peace and love. I actually gotta get off the
Okay. We
uh,
can finish this next week. Next week,
I,
that'll be the topic. We finish talking about spiritual healing.
I,
Because we got all excited talking about everything,
I'm
other stuff. The
fi-
animal kingdom.
yeah, fired up for sure. Yeah, this was definitely a great topic. Thank you
Mhm.
everyone that came on. Thank you for all the questions. Thank you for even sitting and listening to us, because everybody doesn't sit and listen to these type of conversations. You know,
Mhm.
everybody sees the problems that come from dealing with these things, but nobody's sitting to listen to solutions. Nobody's taking
Yes.
and nobody's taking the change. My best advice for you is, if you heard anything on that we have said that can help you to make a change in your life, take the leap of faith and make the change. Because
Mm.
I promise you, changing won't make things worse. but stay in the same will.
Yes, that was a powerful statement. Yes. Staying the same. And nothing's meant to stay the same. You're supposed to grow, you're supposed to develop. My daughter asked me a question today that was so powerful. She was like, so the butterfly started as a caterpillar. So she was like, well, so when the butterfly lays its egg, does it lay a butterfly egg or a caterpillar egg? And I was like, that's a good question. But we got into this whole long discussion about the metamorphosis,
Yeah.
how it goes from a egg to a caterpillar to a cocoon, and then it emerges as a butterfly, and just that whole cycle. And so we are like butterflies. We'll start out as caterpillars or in a different state, and we had to grow and develop just like they do. We went through, a cocoon stage, or you may want to call that um the cocoon could represent your challenges, it could represent a second womb, if you
Yeah.
will, where you're going through a rebirthing. And when you emerge from that cocoon, you're a new shining individual with your wings. And when you see the cat, not the cat, but the butterfly, when it first come out the cocoon, it has to like wiggle its wings, and it pumps
Yeah.
blood into them, and they grow, and
Uh,
then they take off and soar. So in order for you to take off and soar, you got to do your spiritual work, you got to do your practices, you got to go through your dark night of the soul, as they call it, where you actually, which may seem like it's a challenge or it's a really hard time, or you may feel like you're in a low state in your life, but it is for your highest good. It's a part of your healing journey, it's a part of your healing process.
Ashe.
We went through that. We went through the dark night of the soul, and it can last
Still,
anywhere from a few days to a few months or even years.
still going through it. Still going through it. Still got shadows I'm wrestling with. Still got trauma.
It
It don't stop.
don't, well, it
Now,
huh?
I say it don't stop. I'm just used to wrestling them now. I don't let them hold me down. I,
Right. Yeah, but yes, that's right. You don't let them hold you down.
I'm used to fighting them as I see them so they don't overrun me.
Yes. You
Because the thing is, we all got traumas, but if
mhm,
you're not dealing with none of the
mhm,
trauma will pile up and overrun you.
mhm.
So you gotta learn how to stand up and fight for yourself against these traumas so that they
That's
don't
right.
run you. You gotta deal with them one at a time. Don't try to deal with all your trauma at once because it's not gonna work.
Mhm.
They gonna win. They gonna gang up on you.
Mhm.
Pick one, deal with one.
Mhm.
My my family issues, deal with it.
Mhm.
My eating habits, deal with it.
Mhm.
My heartbreak issues, deal with it. One at
Mhm.
a time, deal with the traumas,
Mhm.
and you'll just start to feel your load lighten and lighten. And then you could be as light as a butterfly and fly off into the wind and all that good stuff. But I
Mhm.
love y'all. Peace.
Peace. Love you too, big brother.
Peace and love.
Take love. So you heard that, friends, from beloved King Ade, and we all go through these challenges. And even if you're going through these challenges, think of yourself as you're going to be the butterfly when you come out on the other side. So you may be in your cocoon state right now, you may be in your caterpillar state. It doesn't matter. You are going to get to the other side to become that butterfly. And remember, the butterfly, since we're talking about animal spirits, butterfly represents transformation. Because if you study the life cycle of a butterfly, that is an amazing, amazing transformation. How they go from this tiny egg to a caterpillar, and they create their own cocoon, which is like another womb, if you will, another creative space. And while they're in that cocoon, they are, it appears asleep, but they're growing, they're developing, they're changing, they are tapping into their transformative power of medicine. And as they're growing and developing in that dark space of the cocoon or that womb, when they emerge from it, and they have to struggle to get out of that cocoon. It's not easy. They don't just unzip it and they just, there I am. They have to struggle and fight against it to get out. And once they come out of that cocoon, they spread their wings and they fly. And when they emerge, they're a totally different looking being. They don't look anything like what they used to be, because that's the power of that transformative change. And butterfly might be your totem. We talked about animal medicine and plant medicine and all of the medicine and energy means the same thing. So you may be like at the butterfly stage in your life, or the cocoon, or the caterpillar stage. So just remember that you have to love yourself, support yourself, um, through your healing journey. Create your own personal heaven while you're going through this. Be your own cheerleader. You can do it. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have love in yourself. Love and respect yourself enough to get the help that you need. And remember to nurture yourself while you're healing. Something that really helped me on my healing journey was to remember that, just imagine if you were given, if God gave you this duty to take care of a newborn baby. How would you treat that newborn? You would be loving, nurturing, careful with the child. You would be very conscious and thoughtful in what you expose the baby to, how you feed it, how you handle it. You will be gentle, kind, and loving. Well, you have to treat yourself that way, because you are like a newborn child from God. So you have to treat yourself the same way that you would treat this new life, because you yourself are a new life. No matter what your age is, you're still a child of God, and you have to treat yourself as that. And so also remember that when you're handling other people, a lot of times we mishandle ourselves and we mishandle other people because we see them as something separate from us. And we have to remember that we all come from source, and treat them the same way that you want to be treated. The way that you regard them is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. That's saying that hurt people hurt other people, but empowered people empower other people. People who have respect for themselves respect others. People who love themselves will be loving and caring and compassionate to others, because that is your true nature. And so how you treat others is a reflection of what you think about yourself. So keep that in mind as you go through your healing journey. I hope tonight's show was very helpful. I enjoyed reading your comments and your questions. One Love and Mr. J. Thank you all for tuning in each week. I recognize the names and the icons. We really appreciate your support. Remember, we're taking a brief sabbatical from the Healing Cipher show on Mondays, but you can go back to pluggedinradio.com and you can watch the archived older shows just to catch up. We're going to resume the show in May, and we look forward to it. But in the meantime, you can always catch us here live on Wednesday nights here on Astro Healing Arts channel in the Ask the Herbalist Hour. If you have any questions, say them for us. You can also contact us at my email, which is astrohealingarts@yahoo.com. If you have any questions or looking for consultations for health and wellness. Peace to you all. I hope you have a wonderful evening. I look forward to you next week. Love and light. And thank you. Appreciate your time too, One Love. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you, Mr. J. We appreciate you both. You all have a blessed evening, and we'll see you next time. Be well.